Good day, everyone, from wherever you're joining us today. My name is Diego Tamburini. I'm a principal industry lead for manufacturing in the Azure Marketplace team, joining you from Seattle, Washington. One second, sorry. I'm joined by my colleague, Ercenk, a principal cloud architect for manufacturing also in the Azure Marketplace team, and we're both joining you from Seattle. This webinar is mainly targeted to business and technical decision makers in software companies who are developing software solutions for customers in the manufacturing and engineering industry sector. But anyone interested in manufacturing, cloud software development, and in understanding where Microsoft is going with its commercial marketplace will hopefully also find this webcast valuable. So in the next hour or so, we will be covering the following. I'll start with sharing the Microsoft point of view of the manufacturing industry, the trends that we're watching, and the industry priority scenarios that we focus on. Then Ercenk will take a couple of those scenarios and use them as examples to discuss how our cloud platform, Azure, enables them. And finally, I'll retake the stage back to give you a brief overview of the Microsoft Commercial Marketplace and how it can help you grow sales. And then at the end, we will leave a few minutes at the end for a brief Q&A. Okay, without further delay, let me start by sharing our perspective on the manufacturing industry. When we look at the forces that are driving transformation in the manufacturing industry, we see a common trend through these predictions and numbers. This trend is about digitizing operations and use the data that's generated from this digitalization to extract insights to improve these operations and differentiate products and services. So, for example, you see numbers like by 2030, 65% of manufacturers will save 10% of OPEX to process digital twins using IoT and machine learning. By 2024, 40% will leverage IoT data to reduce unplanned downtime by 25%. By the end of 2021, half of the manufacturers will invest in supply chain resiliency and AI for productivity improvements of 15%. And you can read the rest, but these numbers make the whole digital transformation talk that we hear so much about more tangible and concrete. Here we see real technologies applied to real industry scenarios, producing real improvements. So at Microsoft, we articulate our point of view of what the priorities in the industry are by defining these five, what we call industry priority scenarios. Transform your workforce, engage customers in new ways, create more resilient supply chains, build more agile factories, and unlock innovation and deliver new services. So if we drill a little bit into each one of them, we see that transform your workforce is all about connecting your workforce with the information and the training that they need to do their jobs. It's augmenting them with AI and ML in a sense, to give them superpowers to make better and more informed decisions. The second one, engage your customers in new ways, is about delivering new and differentiated customer experiences across marketing, sales, and service. Create more resilient supply chains that can absorb disruptions and shocks like the current COVID-19 crisis. I will be saying a few words about in a minute. The fourth one, build more agile factories. This is where the Industry 4.0 and smart factories discussions come to play. It basically boils down how to use data delivered by IoT connectivity and analyzed by machine learning to optimize operations and improve product quality. And finally, unlock innovation and deliver new services is about designing connected, more sustainable products and attach services that shift the mindset from one of shipping products in a transactional manner, basically sell and forget, to one where manufacturers are delivering product as a service, where the relationship with the customer continues after the sale. Okay, these are the industry scenarios we consider priority, the ones in the previous slide. And although we have deep industry expertise in manufacturing at Microsoft, we are not a manufacturing software company. We're a cloud platform company. And we go to market in manufacturing with our software partners. We've always had, and we intend to continue to do so. So we provide the services and infrastructure, the building blocks, if you will, like things like IoT, machine learning, data analytics, augmented reality, compute power, for software companies like you to build on top of our platform. And this slide is just a sampler of some of the software partners that have built their solutions on top of Azure. They are grouped, as you can see, by the same industry priority scenarios I just presented: workforce transformation, connected product innovation, etc. And we use these to go to market together and to share customer opportunities that our respective sales forces may find. Now, I will be remiss if I don't acknowledge the current situation with the COVID-19 crisis and its impact in the industry. In a sense, COVID-19 has actually heightened the need to implement the digital transformation initiatives that we've been talking about for some time in the industry. So in particular, helping address the skills gap, now more urgent as factories are being repurposed to manufacture personal protective equipment, for example. Do everything remotely, monitor equipment remotely, optimize production parameters remotely, provide expert consulting remotely, provide a safe work environment, use tracing and tracking, leverage automation to help with social distances requirements, etc. And better plan and optimize supply chains, assess and address risk, make the supply chains more resilient and to quickly adapt to disruptions. So to address these market forces and the additional impact of COVID-19, we're now focused on three priorities with our customers. Navigate the now, which is support our customers' most pressing needs to maintain business continuity despite the disruptions and restrictions of the moment. Plan the comeback, basically help our customers prepare to rebound their business in a time of continued uncertainty and upheaval. And then shape the new normal, reimagine our customers' business to leverage insight, streamline operations, realize efficiencies in a marketplace that frankly will be permanently altered by the crisis. So to that end, we have organized our industry priority scenarios for manufacturing to align with these priorities. So if we go back to the industry priority slide that I showed a few minutes ago and overlay the impact of COVID-19, we can see the same use cases that enable the response to this crisis. So for example, under transform your workforce, you can see that the COVID impact has provided a new urgency to distributed team collaboration use cases, remote securing, cross-training, etc. More resilient supply chains, things like risk modeling and assessment use cases, and more agile factories, for example, refactoring for COVID supplies, secure remote operating, and use cases like that. So we have acknowledged the new urgencies of the COVID crisis and overlaid them to the priority scenarios that we were already talking about. And lastly, if we rearrange these and add more detail, we get this slide, which is basically in here we have the use cases under each industry priority scenario. Transform your workforce. We have the use cases: enable remote work productivity, modern devices and connected workers, etc. And as you can see, these use cases, the boxes, the blue boxes, are highlighted in yellow, blue, and green, indicating where in the COVID-19 response journey of react, recover, and reimagine they are more relevant. So this slide is effectively a roadmap of the use cases and therefore the software solutions that enable these use cases that we are prioritizing when it comes to partnering and going to market with software vendors. So with that, let us shift gears now and hand it over to Ercenk, who will be going under the hood of a couple of these scenarios and discuss how they can be enabled by Azure. So the intent here is not to provide an in-depth discussion of the architecture of a particular solution, but rather give you a high-level view of how Azure services are put together like building blocks to help software vendors like you develop your solutions. So, Ercenk, I'll hand it over to you. Want to take on control?
Yes, of course. Thanks for the introductions. This is Ercenk, and just to let you all know, I don't usually wear suits and ties during my daily life. This is a great photo of me that was just it was taken a few years back. And since now most of us is working from home, I don't really wear this outfit during the home. Working from home as well. So again, as Diego mentioned, I'm the Azure architect on the team, and I focus on manufacturing. So I'm going to focus on a couple of representative scenarios here. And while going through those representative scenarios, please bear in mind that as Diego said, we are not a manufacturing company, software company. Microsoft is a platform company. And we do have many different platform services available for our partners to build on. So the scenarios or the approaches that I will describe does not really mean that this is the way it should be done, but it's more like a list of possible services available on the Azure platform that can be used in your solution. As the typical architect, we all know that the mythical bytes do most of our work as they travel from one side to the other over a wire. And if you look at the life of those bytes while they're working for the business, we can see almost in all of the solutions, we are collecting some data, processing the data, storing it, analyzing it, and then acting on that information we gather. So let's see how this maps to our overall process. But before doing so, I'd like to also focus on the Azure Architecture Framework pillars. Again, during the life of an architect, we also look at the solution from the perspective of the functional requirements, and also known as non-functional requirements. And Microsoft distilled those approaches on the non-functional side in Azure Architecture Framework pillars. And I recommend the architects designing solutions on Azure also look at those 5 different pillars and think about cost, DevOps, resiliency, scalability, and security during the design of their solutions. So that being said, let's first see what are those scenarios once more. So there are multiple different ones, but we're going to focus on build more agile factories and also unlock innovation and deliver new services. Let's start with build agile factories, and let's go back to our mythical cycle of life for the bytes working for the business, and let's see how these map to an architectural outlook. First of all, roughly on the functional level, the kind of data that we collect for this scenario is that data can be coming from different sources, such as software systems, management execution systems, historians, various different logs distributed across the factory, SQL Server, or even Excel. The data can also be directly generated by devices and machines. Then what we need to do is that we need to bring that data over, process the data. So while we're processing the data, we need to look at how to translate the data, normalize it, enrich the data, put it into context, etc., and then store the data in some place. But when we're looking at the type of the data that's coming from the factory, the data's shape will be different, and also the consumption of the data will dictate to put the data in a different shape. We will also need to think about the access speed for that data to be acted on and analyzed on. Next, when we look at the analyze picture, we will need to look at solutions for exploring and monitoring the incoming data, perform operational analysis, and think about machine learning and AI. And as the digital feedback loop continues, we will need to act on it, and that will also continue generating more data, and we'll just go through that. So how do we do this? What is the high-level picture? At the high level, we can think about there are on-premise systems that generate data or that has the data. There is, of course, on the Azure side, we have work to do for data ingestion, analytics, command and control, which are also taking care of the analysis and the act portion on the right-hand side through various different cloud applications on the Azure side. And as I said before, this is a diagram of showing the possibilities. What are the possible services that exist on Azure that can help the partners to build solutions on? If you just look at the most complicated view, and I know just like Diego and I, we were talking about, should we just keep the complicated word here? The complicated word actually describes the situation quite well, because answering this scenario requires some complicated work to be done. But let's focus on the main areas first. So let's look at the on-premise situation first. As I mentioned, on the on-premise systems, you have existing assets like PLCs, databases, message buses, SCADAs, MES, ERP systems, etc. So most of those devices and most of those machines are talking through proprietary protocols. Those are protocols that have many different variations, many different protocol types. So there are many solutions out there provided by our partners. So assuming that we translate the data, there is a solution by the Microsoft Industrial IoT team based on OPC UA. The Microsoft's approach for processing the data both on the cloud, on the on-premise, is to extend and embrace the hybrid needs. For extending and embracing the hybrid needs, Microsoft has a solution called Azure IoT Edge, and Azure IoT Edge works great with the Azure IoT Hub on the cloud side. And riding on that IoT Edge architecture, the Industrial IoT team put together a solution that uses the OPC UA standards. As a side note, OPC UA, Microsoft provides a lot of code and reference code for using OPC UA on GitHub, and Microsoft is the largest contributor to GitHub in terms of lines of code through this project. So go and please check the Industrial IoT GitHub repository under this link. And on that, you can see how the Industrial IoT team is extending the existing IoT Edge runtime to provide this functionality. The IoT Edge component provides you many different opportunities for both forwarding data to the cloud as well as processing the data on the premise side, on the edge side, plus makes use of the OPC UA standard to securely communicate with your on-premise systems. That also being said, the IoT Edge is not the only path the data takes. It's also possible to do bulk uploads and ingest the data through bulk uploads on the cloud side to further analyze and act on the data. Goes without saying that the augmented reality solution from Microsoft by HoloLens plays a big role here. With the factory of the future scenarios, you can connect the HoloLens to your existing on-premise solutions and enable various different scenarios. Looking at the complicated picture again, let's look at the next piece, which is on the Azure side. On the Azure side, the bulk upload scenario is the last one that we mentioned. Data Factory service is an interesting and useful service for consuming, ingesting that data and shaping the data. In addition to that, you can make use of IoT Hub paired with the device registry services and device provisioning service on the cloud. The OPC UA components coming from the Azure Industrial IoT team are also in play here. There are existing solutions again on that GitHub repository where you can see how the IoT team put together an interesting solution for answering the needs of the solution on the Azure side. The typical approach for analyzing the data and organizing the data is going through the Lambda architecture. So Lambda architecture calls for the hot and warm path analytics, and so you can use Azure Stream Insights and various different other big data services on the Azure side for analyzing and organizing the incoming data. Moving on to the other scenario, unlocking innovation and delivering new services. Let's also start again with the life of the bytes working for the business, the mythical bytes. The functional needs can be grouped into these categories under collect, process, store, analyze, and act as such. So on the collect side, we're talking about potentially millions of devices out there in the field used by consumers. And the problem we're trying to solve here is that how am I going to bring that data as used from the products as used by the consumers and the users of those products, bring it over, look at the data, analyze the data in such a way that so you can continue using that data in our design process, so that we can refine the design of the process products and also answer problems that are happening out in the field. So the collect part, that means that there are tons of different products used out in the field, and the data is coming from many different sources. On the process side, we will still need to think about translating, normalizing, contextualizing, and enriching the data. And again, the data is coming from different speeds, plus we're also looking at the existing historical data. And on the analyze side, we will need, this time we'll need to look at the integration with different tools, pushing the data to simulation engines, utilizing the incoming data for product design, as well as bringing in the connected field services. Also goes without saying that machine learning and adding machine learning and AI capabilities. The result of that will be causing us to make design changes and also answering the problems happening out in the field. So let's look at the picture that how this works. We can still think that, hey, this looks like an IoT problem. Well, if you look at the IoT problem, it's all about managing the devices and bringing the data over and processing the data. So the data path is familiar. However, this time we're bringing the data over from connected products, meaning that the products we actually control the data flow with. And we can take two different paths when we're ingesting the data in this case. And the obvious situation here is that we really don't have the bulk data upload because these are the devices that are actively used, or these are the products actively used by the consumers out in the field. So we expect those devices to be generating data and pushing data to the cloud side. The two paths that you can take is that you can either take advantage of Microsoft's higher level solution called IoT Central. So IoT Central enables you to connect literally millions of devices. It's a higher level abstraction on top of the existing Microsoft Azure services, such as IoT Hub or Stream Analytics or Blob Storage. Of course, you can, as a partner, take another approach and use the underlying detailed Azure services. The IoT Central provides API access, so you can deploy IoT Central applications quite fast, but goes without saying that any higher level abstraction, it will lose some of the lower level fidelity if you want to fine tune, let's say, or bring more capabilities using the IoT Hub directly. So that being said, the data comes in, and then you can analyze the data in your typical big data analytics fashion using Lambda architecture through a cold path and a warm path. And on the analyze and act side, you can use Logic Apps, Azure for integration, and also Azure Badge for simulation, so that data can be shared with the analytics and design tools, and also the augmented reality solutions can be brought into picture for further analyzing and view the situation. So with that, again, thank you so much for our partners. Nothing is possible without the partners, and we are not really saying that these are the services that needs to be used, but these are the services that are available for our partners to build their solutions on. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm going to hand the discussion over to Diego.
Thank you, Ercenk. So up to this point, so I started with a view of what is Microsoft's point of view in manufacturing and the priority areas. Ercenk gave you kind of a lap around some of the Azure services that are often used in manufacturing solutions, particularly the ones involved with IoT and data analytics. And okay, and let's assume that by now you have a solution on Azure, or are about to release a solution on Azure, and want to sell it with Microsoft. So this is where the Microsoft commercial marketplace comes to play as one additional channel to sell your solutions through Microsoft. So I'll give you an overview of what it is and the advantages and what to do next. So this may not be a surprise to many of you, but as organizations adopt solutions on the cloud, more and more of them are embracing cloud applications developed by software vendors like you. And they're looking for faster deployment mechanisms and an easier purchase experience and billing. So as such, online marketplaces are becoming an increasingly important part of the customer journey. And you've likely seen some similar stats, but the research we've done in partnership with Forrester indicates that by 2023, at least 17% of all business-to-business transactions will happen through e-commerce. At the core of this change is a need for convenience and autonomy. So more than 70% of business leaders want a self-service marketplace to allow their customers, enable them to research, deploy, and buy and manage applications. So this diagram represents our marketplace and associated commerce ecosystem. On the left side are the publishers. Those are the software vendors who have created software products and services. And on the right are buyers looking for solutions to meet their needs. At the center, you have Microsoft One catalog of all offerings. And this includes first-party, which are Microsoft solutions, and third-party solutions and services. So in order to be included in this single catalog, a publisher needs to publish a transactable offer in the marketplace. So for publishers, by creating a transactable offer in the marketplace, it's now easier to grow your business with direct access to Microsoft customers, reseller channels, sales teams, and go-to-market benefits. So Microsoft field sellers can, when you are on the marketplace, can sell your solution directly to customers, and they can quote your solution along with other Microsoft products and services through the Microsoft Customer Agreement or MCA. And you can choose to allow thousands of resellers to sell your solution. It's more than 70,000 to date to their customers. So for buyers, this is a simple and trusted way to find, try, and buy cloud services for Microsoft and publishers. So why would you want to sell your solution through the Microsoft Marketplace? Why bother, as opposed to just doing it through your regular sales channel that you've been using so far? Well, we believe that there are some very compelling reasons for you to do so. So this slide lists the main 5 benefits of leveraging the Microsoft Marketplace. I'll go briefly through each one of them in the next few slides. And I mean, frankly, some reasons may be more important to you than others, depending on your market, your size, the size of your customers, etc. So the first reason, increase sales through Microsoft sellers and resellers. The way to look at it is that transacting through our commercial marketplace opens up additional sales channels for publishers. It's not about replacing your current channel or your current sales process. It's about augmenting it. So publishers can sell directly to Microsoft App Stores and Azure Marketplace storefronts, where customers can buy solutions directly. And in addition, publishers with transactable offers can also sell through Microsoft sales teams. So for some time now, our sellers have been incentivized to sell your solutions through our co-sell program. But now Microsoft sellers can quote and sell these partner solutions alongside Microsoft first-party solutions and services. So this is especially valuable for publishers to leverage existing procurement touch points that Microsoft sellers have, saving time and additional investments. And finally, by publishing a SaaS transactable offer, publishers can now opt in to sell through our network of thousands of cloud solution providers or CSPs. The second one is that the second benefit of transacting on the marketplace is that when you transact your solution through the marketplace, you can take advantage of Microsoft's global scale without having to build and invest in additional sales infrastructure. So for example, you can leverage Microsoft contracting and billing tools. You can use the platform to provision, deploy, and drive trials and that automatically convert to paid subscriptions. You can take on new global engagements using currency management, global payment support, and collections. And with these capabilities, you can scale your reach and distribution and improve the customer buying experience without having to build all this stuff yourself and manage all this stuff yourselves. The third advantage is that the commercial marketplace platform is valuable, but perhaps the most valuable to our partners is the ability to take advantage of their customers' existing procurement touch points. So sometimes working to build a new procurement connection with a new customer is a significant time and money investment. So we remove all that in the sales process. So when a customer purchases through the marketplace, they can leverage their existing Microsoft customer agreement or simply agree to any additional partner terms and conditions. So IT buyers are actually looking to consolidate their IT costs, which is achieved by integrated into their Microsoft build. And in addition, as mentioned earlier, the co-sell motion enables you to partner with a customer's existing account team. Perhaps most importantly, transacting through the commercial marketplace provides an improved customer buying experience. So whether through the online storefronts, their Microsoft sales team, or a channel partner they're working with, customers can discover, find, try, and buy your solution along with Microsoft first-party solutions with a single buying experience and bill. And finally, the fifth and final benefit of transacting on the Microsoft Marketplace is that when you transact solutions through the marketplace and the app stores, you earn additional go-to-market benefits and rewards. So these benefits, think of them as the benefits that you get with an airline mileage program. They're intended to support your offer as it matures over time, providing relevant support, resources, and engagement depending on the maturity of your offering. So you can see here on the left side of the slide that when you start listing your offer, you become eligible for some benefits that focus on driving awareness of the offering, and as your sales grow, additional benefits will kick in to support more sophisticated things like demand generation, co-selling with Microsoft, lead development, and sales enablement for the higher levels of bill sales. So this view provides the details of how the marketing benefits will grow as the bill sales for your transactable offer grows over time. Some benefits kick in immediately when you transact at the publisher level, and then they grow as you grow your sales. So these are some benefits, and finally some technical benefits. So to conclude, I'd like to share a bit of about the momentum that we are seeing for partners who are transacting through the marketplace. In our catalog, we currently have over 7,000 publishers globally with over 15,000 offers. More than 1,500 of those offers are transactable, and this number is growing quickly because we know customer conversion is much higher with transactable offers versus simple listings on the marketplace. We know also that customers who use software through the Azure Marketplace produce a higher Azure consumption revenue and help with Azure customer ads, and they stay on Azure longer, which drives engagement from our field sellers. Basically, they are more incentivized to sell your solution. And partners are actually executing deals of over $1 million on the marketplace. So it's not only small transactions, it's a wide range of deal sizes. And we even had our first deal over $13 million a few months ago. More than half of transacting ISVs are opted in the channel, CSP channel. And we are actually, as we grow, we are gathering the learnings from partners about what helps them drive success through the marketplace. which we share and amplify with the other partners who develop marketplace offers. So we are getting better with time, and those learnings go back to you as a publisher on the marketplace. So that's all the content that we had today. As a quick summary of what we discussed, I started by sharing Microsoft's point of view on manufacturing, the forces that are shaping the industry, the priority scenarios, and the impact, and a few words on the impact of COVID-19 on the industry. Then Ercenk gave you an under the hood view of a couple of scenarios, and I closed with an overview of the Microsoft commercial marketplace. So hopefully we don't end here with this webcast. This is an ongoing conversation. You can scan that QR code on the top right corner of the slide, which will take you to the full slide deck for your own perusal. You can look at these interesting resources. Microsoft.com manufacturing has everything about what we do in manufacturing, the blog. We have a special series of COVID webinar topics, a very interesting booklet on AI manufacturing, our podcast. And if you want to engage with us to publish your solution as a transactable offer on the marketplace, please send us a note to the email at the bottom of the slide, manufacturingmarketplace@microsoft.com, and we'll be happy to engage with you to help you transact on the marketplace. So at this point, I believe we have a few minutes for Q&A. In your screens, you have a place where you can enter your questions, and we'll try to address as many as we can today, and if not, we'll follow up over email later. So there was a question about what about manufacturing machines on Ercenk's presentation? What about manufacturing machines that are not connected to a network or the internet? Ercenk, would you like? You replied on the Q&A window, but would you like to say a few words about that question?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. So the bulk upload path that I mentioned is the method for addressing that scenario. We can, of course, just like think about many different scenarios, many different situations where the connectivity is not always in place because of the regulatory reasons or because of the physical difficulties. The typical approach there is that you just process the data on the edge and then collect the data. And besides, your existing systems may have that data, and they are large, so it's not practical to push them all the time. What you can do is that you can take the approach of out-of-band bulk upload scenario using services such as Azure Databox.
Thank you, Ercenk. There is also a question about, is there any difference between silver and gold partnership in terms of incentives? So this question is referring to the levels of partnerships that software vendors can have in the Microsoft Partner Network. So if you go to the Microsoft Partner Network, you can see the details on benefits and requirements to be a Microsoft Partner Network partner. And it has 3 levels. One is the initial membership, and then there is silver and gold. And that's a separate program. I believe this question is when I was presenting the marketplace. So the Microsoft Partner Network is a separate program and a separate platform from the marketplace. There are no requirements as far as a Microsoft Partner Network membership to be on the marketplace. So you don't have to be a silver or a gold or even a partner network for that matter. When there are some requirements to be a gold partner is with the other program that I briefly mentioned, that is the co-sell program, but not for to be listed on the marketplace. If that's not the question or if I answered a wrong question, please put it again on the Q&A. How do I enroll into this? Another question is how to enroll into this, and I already have MPN. So I'm assuming that this is the marketplace, the Microsoft Marketplace. You can go to this link, aks.ms sell through marketplace, and it will provide instructions on how to list an application on the marketplace. But you can also send us a note to Microsoft Marketplace at Microsoft.com, and we can discuss potential engagement to help you directly. Oh, could you please share the QR code slide again? Okay, here it is. So we'll leave another minute or two to see if new questions come into the Q&A window.
So there's another question about the familiarity on the platform, Azure platform. So I cannot share, of course, any partner-specific architectural approach, but Microsoft has a published IoT reference architecture. That this is coming from the experiences that were collected throughout various different work with Microsoft and the partners and the customer. So this doesn't point to any specific partner solution on customer situation, but it gives you a perspective of the approach for processing incoming data through an IoT platform. And I shared the link on the Q&A window.
Okay, so I don't see any new questions coming in. So we'll ramp down the webinar for today. Thank you very much for those who attended live and who will be watching this on demand. Please check out the resources that we provided, and feel free to connect us if you want to learn more. With that, I wish you good luck and good health, and again, have a good rest of the week, and thank you.
And thank you from me as well. Please stay safe and healthy.